vast, unforgiving expanse, its stars flickering like distant campfires in the eternal night. Among these stars, Captain James Michaels was a name whispered with reverence. The Star Warrior had carved his legacy across countless worlds, his martial prowess unmatched, his name spoken in awe by children and feared by his enemies. But the galaxy was changing. Shadows deepened, and the once peaceful planets were now battlegrounds. The time of reckoning had come. Chapter 1: The Gathering Storm. The Nixera Resistance was not a name James Michaels had heard until the day they found him. He was on the planet of Zorvith, a world of crimson sands and twin suns, where he had just won the Galactic Martial Arts Tournament. The crowd roared as he stood on the podium, his fists raised in victory. But behind the cheers, a figure waited in the shadows. She introduced herself as Anya Uniqueless, the leader of the Nixera Resistance. Her eyes were sharp, her voice steady, and her resolve unshakable. "Captain Michaels," she said, her voice low but urgent. "The galaxy is at war. Lord Vorlith's tyranny spreads unchecked, and your skills are needed. Not for tournaments, but for survival." James listened, his expression unreadable. He had heard of Lord Vorlith, a ruthless warlord whose armies had ravaged entire systems. But James had always been a lone wolf, content with his tournaments and the admiration of the crowd. Yet, something about Anya's words struck a chord. Maybe it was the fire in her eyes or the weight of her words. Whatever it was, James agreed to meet with the Nixera Resistance. The meeting took place in an abandoned...
Hey guys, for a short period of time, we will be offering apparel. So the apparel will be the branded CAPTAINMIZZL show apparel, as you saw in the picture, and I'll show it again towards the end, just so you guys have a few for that. And like I said, for a short period of time, we're going to be offering apparel. And it will be very unique. So if you want something specialized, the specialization is for the first 5 people, the specialization will be a number, right? If you want a special number, like a double-digit number, we'll provide that and we'll do that on the back for you. So it's like you're part of the team, okay? Let's get back to the show. Thank you for coming. And joining our page, please. Follow and subscribe. We appreciate all of you. Always try to deliver that positive message to grow forward and let's become better.
Hangar on the outskirts of Zorvith's capital. The Resistance was a ragtag group of fighters, engineers, and strategists from all corners of the galaxy. They were united by one cause: to overthrow Lord Vorlith and reclaim their freedom. Anya introduced James to her team, and as he listened to their stories, he began to see the bigger picture. The galaxy was burning, and he had the chance to be the flame that extinguished the inferno. But James was not one to rush into battle. He asked questions, studied their strategies, and tested their resolve. Anya, in turn, was impressed. She had expected a cocky warrior, but instead, she found a man who thought before he acted, who understood the weight of war. Lord Vorlith's mistake, Anya said, pointing to a holographic map of the galaxy. He exposed a weakness during the siege of Zaridia. His ships have a blind spot in their shields, a small window of opportunity. If we can exploit it, we might stand a chance. James nodded, his mind already racing with strategies. But we'll need something faster than anything Vorlith has. Something that can get us in and out before they even know we're there. Anya smiled, a glint in her eye. We have just the thing. Chapter 2: The Quickest Lightning. Deep within the Resistance's base, hidden in the heart of an asteroid field, was their latest creation, the Quickest Lightning. The ship was a marvel of engineering, a sleek, black vessel with engines that could outrun even the fastest of Vorlith's ships. Its design was unconventional, with jagged edges and an unpredictable flight pattern that made it nearly impossible to hit. James was speechless as he boarded the ship for the first time. The interior was sparse but functional, with advanced weaponry and a state-of-the-art navigation system. Anya introduced him to the ship's navigator, a young woman named Alara who had an uncanny connection to the stars. She's the best in the galaxy, Anya said. With her at the helm, we can reach Zaridia in half the time it would take Vorlith's ships. James ran his hand over the control panel, feeling the hum of the engines. "This is a game changer," he said, a grin spreading across his face. "But we'll need more than just speed. We need a plan." Anya nodded. "We have one, but it's risky. We'll need to split our forces, create a diversion while a small team infiltrates Vorlith's flagship." James frowned. "Splitting our forces? That sounds like a recipe for disaster." "Perhaps," Anya said, "but we don't have the luxury of a better option. We have to try." As they discussed the finer details of the plan, James couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. He had always trusted his instincts, and they were screaming at him to be cautious. But he knew that hesitation now would cost them dearly. Chapter 3: The Weight of War. The first true taste of war came sooner than James had expected. As the Nixer resistance prepared for their attack on Zeridia, they received a distress signal from a nearby planet. Vorlith's forces had launched a surprise attack, slaughtering entire villages and enslaving those who dared to resist. James watched the footage in silence, his jaw clenched in anger. The images were brutal, the cries of the innocent echoing in his mind. He had seen death before, but this was different. This was not the controlled violence of a tournament. This was the raw, unfiltered horror of war. "We have to help them," Anya said, her voice trembling with rage. "But we can't afford to lose focus. Zeridia is our only chance to weaken Vorlith's grip on the galaxy." James turned to her, his eyes hard. "We can't just leave them to die. Not if we have the power to stop it." Anya sighed, her resolve waning. "You're right, but we have to be smart. We can't send our entire force. It's too risky." James nodded. "Then we send a small team. Me, Ilera, and a handful of fighters. We'll do what we can." The mission was a success, but at a great cost. They managed to save some of the survivors, but many had already perished. The experience left a sour taste in James's mouth. War was not glorious. It was brutal, messy, and unforgiving. But it was necessary. As they returned to their base, James couldn't help but think of his children. He had made the difficult decision not to take them with him, knowing that the path he had chosen was fraught with danger. Instead, he had alerted his cousin Michael, a trusted ally who had agreed to protect them until the war was over. James knew that his children would be safe with Michael, but the thought of being separated from them weighed heavily on his mind. He had always been their protector, their father, and now he was leaving them behind. But he knew that this was the only way to ensure their future, to create a galaxy where they could live in peace.
Thank you for coming and joining our page. Please like, follow, and subscribe. We appreciate all of you and always try to deliver that positive message to grow. Grow forward and let's become better.